Sagittarius, welcome to January. Sagittarius, you've had a trine going on with Mars, the planet of action, that's been in the fiery sign of Leo. You're a fire sign, Sag, so you have this nice triangle, this positive aspect going on with Mars, the planet of motivation, the planet of how you get things done, okay? So, Mars was moving along last month in December, and then it started its retrograde. So it was in the sign of Leo, the heart base sign of Leo, the sign of like joy. I think of it as such a playful sign. And so now Mars is retrograding backwards, going to drop back into the sign of Cancer, watery sign of Cancer, not considered its best placement because Mars likes to move so fast and Cancer is kind of a slow, watery movement. So Cancer likes to feel safe. It likes to feel nurtured, and is associated with the home and all the comforts of the home. It's a very feminine sign ruled by the moon. And then you've got Mars there, which is written as a symbol for men, just kind of rearing ahead here, wanting to move fast. So we were talking about earlier in the month ahead, you can go back to the January month ahead if you haven't listened to that. And we're talking about how, you can't really rush your healing, but with Mars in Cancer, we have an opportunity to deep dive into the deep stuff. Now, we already know that there's 4 planets in water signs this month, so there's a lot of watery energy going on. And we also, Sagittarius, and I say we because I'm a Sag sun, we have a trine going on with Chiron, the wounded healer that's hanging out over there in the sign of Aries. So we've got a positive aspect with Chiron. We've got this positive aspect with Mars, the beginning of the month. We have all this water going on. We have Mercury, the planet of communication, in the solid, grounded earth sign of Capricorn, our neighboring sign. This is a great time to deep dive into therapy. This is a great time to clean up some old lingering things, especially if there are issues regarding your mother, your father, all those kind of things, with all this Capricorn Cancer energy going on. So this is a great deep dive into healing. This is a great deep dive into creativity. Sometimes our healing, the pain can bring on a lot of creative energy. It can inspire us. Not that we want to bring pain in specifically to inspire us, but as we heal it, as we see it from a different perspective, we can really help other people, okay? Now, the sun is going to be in our neighboring sign of Capricorn most of this month, and then it will head into Aquarius later in the month. We have Venus hanging out in the sign of Pisces most of the month, so it's like that really romantic energy. And Sagittarius, I think that you enjoy that. Remember, Pisces is also a mutable sign, so it does square us, Sagittarius, but there's a lot of romantic themes out there, and we can kind of clear up the old stuff because with the Chiron energy mixed in, with all these planets in water, with all this opportunity for healing, Venus squaring us is going to help us to see what isn't working in relationships, where we're being delusional, because Pisces is associated with illusion and delusion, okay? And remember, the sun is really close to Pluto, the planet of transformation and change. So we have all these opportunities for growth. Now, if we're looking for love, and Venus in Pisces often prompts that. Remember that the people that you see having their birthdays right now, the Capricorn people, all the people that you saw through the month through Sagittarius that had similar birthdays to you, and the people that you saw earlier, the Scorpios in November and October, those are your in-season matches, okay? So if you're single and you want to take advantage of the romantic time of Venus in Pisces, remember that the people that you see having their birthdays right now are very compatible to you seasonally. Now, let's see. I did a pre-reading for you, and here are the cards that came up. The first card is the Hermit, and it's from the Mystical Melodies Tarot. And I really like this hermit's face. He's just like, he looks shocked. And, you know, Sagittarius, we like to have fun. We're known to be very optimistic and just kind of wanting to have a good time, okay? And the Hermit's kind of like screaming like, no, almost like, don't make me deep dive into this stuff. But we know the Hermit is our card of the year this year because 2025 equals the number 9. So this is our theme card for the year. And even though 9 years are known to be like really busy, the Hermit knows that he has to take the time out, the alone time, the quiet time to process and analyze. Okay, so make sure that you're giving yourself that time. Now, your second card that came up was the Emperor here from the Pastoral Tarot. And the Emperor is the boss, right? He's Aries energy. And we were talking about Chiron being in the sign of Aries, making a nice trine with us. And so there's an opportunity to take a look at things like our childhood, which Aries is associated with. Aries is ruled by Mars. We already talked about Mars. So there's some things here where we can be looking at our male-female relationships. We can be looking at our relationships with our parents. There's just so much going on as far as work anyways, because it's Capricorn season and Capricorn is associated with career. So the Emperor is showing up. He's the boss, but he's also having a seat here. And he's letting his goats there, rams, or whatever they are, probably rams. You know, he's just hanging out with them. He's there leading them, but he's sitting and he's taking a break. And that's a really good advice for you this month. Now, those are two major arcanas, major secret of life cards that came up in the pre-reading. So we know that there's a lot here. There's a lot of themes here to be learned, okay? And then I was happy to see the Ace of Cups show up here from the Spellcaster's Tarot. And so it's like two major arcanas and an ace. This is the cup of satisfaction, has a lot of sensual energy to it. And we know with Venus in Pisces that there is that in the air. But remember, Pisces squares us, Sagittarius, because Pisces is a mutable sign. So we make these 90-degree angles. And so there may be some things that are going to show up about love that it needs to teach us right now. And we're kind of like looking like maybe we don't want to look at it all, but it's showing itself. And we want to sit and take the pause to really process it. Now, this is your pre-reading. We're going to jump into a live reading right now. And I haven't looked at any of these cards yet. And let's see what else you need to know this month, Sagittarius. I'm really enjoying working with the Mystical Melodies Tarot deck. It's vintage cartoons and it just speaks to me. And I'm working with the Spellcasters, which I've talked about being a favorite of mine. It's a little intense, so it's not always used in private readings, but I do love to work with it personally, and I'm going to share it with you right now. So our first card for you is the Sun card, and this is a Leo card, and we just talked about how when Mars is in Leo, it's trining you. Now, it also looks like babies. They look like little babies, a little diaper. And so we're talking a lot about that there's this healing opportunity this month for some old childhood stuff. Oh, it's funny because I had a four-leaf clover little charm that must have been left on the table from the last reading. I didn't notice it, but it was right up there, right by the sun. So it's interesting. It's kind of lucky. Kind of has a playfulness, like as a child, always like looking for those kind of things. I also just noticed that these clover leaves are shaped like hearts. So I see a lot about really loving yourself and really being gentle on yourself and your childhood and all you've accomplished since then. Okay, there's a lot of healing going on there. Your second card is the Ten of Wands. And my favorite part of this deck is the expression of the houses. I love that. So the house is like, whoa, you know, you're carrying a lot there. So he's in the process of putting down a burden, okay? And a lot of that, like a 10 is a shift, right? A 10 is a 1 in numerology. So really, there's something that's being laid down, and next to it is a card of fun. I think you're laying down some of your burden. I think you're laying down some old memory that you don't need to carry anymore and just processing. But I also think you're making more time for fun. Now, your third card, it's the same card. It's the Ten of Wands again from the Spellcasters. So here's two versions of the same card. And it's interesting in this one from the Spellcasters, he dropped two wands. So there's a relationship back there. Okay, so maybe your relationship needs tending to. Maybe it just needs some time scheduled, but that's coming through pretty clear. Okay, your last card here is the Hanged Man. And this is a major arcana, major secret of life card. This is lesson number 12. And I like this version of the Hanged Man a lot because this feels like childhood to me. This feels like the daydreaming. I like this version instead of like the traditional version of the Hanged Man just being held by the foot. Like she's just, daydreaming and hanging out and relaxing and enjoying. So there's a lot of beauty there. So we see like a lot of hard work, a lot about being the boss and having to do all that, maybe analyzing your numbers at the end of the year, but it's definitely showing you stepping into fun, but it's not like active fun. It's very like calming fun, okay? And probably has a lot of water involved. All right, now let's go ahead and pick 4 cards for you, one for each week of January. And I think there's only 4 weeks. I'm going to go with 4 cards. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess technically there's 4 full weeks. All right, your first card is the Ace of Wands. So we're talking about having 2 10s, and then we've got an ace up here, and we've got another ace showing up in week 1. Okay, something's showing up very clear, maybe out of the blue. Maybe there's an opportunity, because it kind of almost feels like what came to me was an opportunity. Runaway card here. Opportunity to travel is what I get from this. So this is week 1 of January. Week 2. 7 of Pentacles, he's kind of checking out his financial situation here. Okay, maybe you're analyzing those numbers as we were talking about. 7 of Pentacles, week 2. Week 3, here's the 4 of Wands, and this is a beautiful card. Looks like a bride with her bridesmaid. And so there's a card of like celebration. There's a card, they're like gonna leave probably on a trip. Celebrating. Week 4, here's you leaving on a trip. 6 of Swords. Oh, I'm kind of excited if this is a reading for me too. You're going somewhere. Okay, so crossing waters. Looks like there's some movement here. Looks like a great month, Sagittarius. All right, now let's give you a couple oracles. See what else we need to know here. And we have Spirit 2, Unicorn. Didn't I just say your travel includes something with water? Keep getting a lot of water cards. You're crossing water here. You had the Hanged Man hanging out by the water. You had the Ace of Cups like overflowing. And it says, this card is a less than subtle suggestion to focus on the good in the world, no matter how elusive it might sometimes seem. There is still purity, if you look for it, in small children or animals, in the heart of those who give without expecting anything in return. If you need a healing touch, the unicorn may guide you to the answers you seek, or perhaps it will simply provide a comforting light in the darkness, glowing like a beacon of goodness and faith. I really like that. And it's just so easy to lose hope that people, of what people have become as we watch the news. And this is such a great reminder of purity, of goodness of the heart. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move these cards to the side. And I'm going to give you, we'll leave these up at the top. We're going to use this gigantic bowl of charms that we're working with. And remember, this is just fun. Let's just see if you see any names, anything that makes sense to you, okay? Don't overthink it. Yes, we have charms going all over the room. We're also going to roll this dice and see what we need to know here. And we're rolling Neptune in Pisces in the 11th house. So that's a lot of Pisces energy because Neptune rules Pisces. We know Neptune is currently in the sign of Pisces. We know that for most of the month of December, Neptune was at like the same degree in the beginning that it was at the end because of its retrograde. So it's almost like December was just like, what the heck was that? Now we're moving into, even though we still have a bunch of planets in water, we're going to start moving into some more forward movement as we get closer to spring. And we know that Neptune's going to dip its toe into Aries in the spring. Even though it's going to retrograde back and forth a little bit, by 2026, it will be stationed in Aries, okay? Now you rolled Neptune, Pisces, 11th house, okay? So there's a lot of illusion, there's a lot of delusion, there's also a lot of great healing energy here, but it's foggy, okay? So things are not clear. And it's in your house of hopes and dreams, and it's in the house of large groups of people, and it's in the house of friends, okay? So with Venus in Pisces, we already know there may be some deep love connections for the friends that we, really care about, but also there could be some, if you're single, there could be some love, like maybe a friend becomes more than that. There's kind of some of that energy there, but there's a lot of fog, okay? This can also rule the internet because it's Aquarian energy, 11th house. And so there could be a lot of creative energy also, all this Neptune energy. Remember, Neptune rules the feet, rules dancers, and it rules like anything artistry, okay? So now let's look at the calendar here, see what letters we have. We have an S, an E, an I, a T. We have the word ties. And we have a V over here, a J, an O, an N. I have the name John. I have the word job. And what else? The word boat. We already saw the Six of Swords show up with a boat. And I have the word boar. No, maybe not. Okay, so you just notice if you see anything, I see an N and a J for New Jersey. I see OJ and just some little words like on and ons, it, sit, sat. Okay, so let's see what else. So the majority of things fell on New Year's Day. We have an A and a 5 of clubs on New Year's Day. So there's some energy there. On the 4th, we actually have this symbol for Sagittarius on Saturday the 4th. So kind of showing us kind of feeling like ourselves there and probably wanting a need for freedom there on the 4th of January, maybe to do your own thing. Just see what my advice was for the 4th of January. Oh, that was last month, so that's why I don't have it in front of me. Okay, now we have like OL, like old times, and we have the word list. So maybe there was some people that were on your list for Christmas, maybe that you didn't get to, but maybe you'll spend some time with them this month, okay? All right, let's see. Anything else? Okay, so then we have a lot of activity. Let's see. The 11th, we have Patron of Mothers Help Me, it says. I think that's Mother Mary. But we have on the 15th of January, we have the King of Clubs. On the 16th, you have the letter G, the word soft, and a little guitar pick with the band Lay Special on it, one of our local bands. Okay, so a lot of energy there. 15th, 16th, 17th, you have the letter V. We have the letter U on the 24th. On the 28th, we have a letter O and a hand, like a helpful hand and like an Om mudra. And on the 31st, we have the letter N. Okay, so see if those make any sense to you. I do have the word love, L-O-V-E, and oh, I just hit that. Loves. I see the word lie and lies, L-I-E-S. Nothing like love and lies, right? Okay, so let's see what date. Oh, we have the word start down here at the bottom too. Start, all right. Let's see what the calendar has to say. So we'll see if it matches up at all here with the charms that we threw. Okay, so we are looking primarily for Pisces because we rolled double Pisces between Neptune and the sign Pisces. So let's see, when will the moon be in Pisces? I got my little moon calendar for the month. And so we start off the month of January. Let's see, this was in last month's report, but we had January, let's see. Well, first we had Aquarius. You rolled the 11th house. So we have Aquarius to Pisces because they're next to each other. So the moon moves into the sign of Aquarius on New Year's Day. That's where you had some activity. So at 5:50 a.m., the moon moves into Aquarius. This is a power day for you. So write down the first, okay? Because this is really a powerful time for you. Then we have the moon in Aquarius into the second, into the third. When it goes into Pisces at 10:21 a.m., it goes into the fourth. That's where you had the Sag symbol. I would really circle the fourth for you and make sure that this is a day. I'm going to circle it for me because I'm a Sag. And so you have that Saturday the 4th, maybe to do your own thing. It's a lot of creative energy with the moon in Pisces. The moon remains in Pisces until Sunday the 5th at 2:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just want to check at the end of the month, does it return? We do have the Aquarius new moon on Wednesday the 29th. But the moon goes into Aquarius at 2:31 p.m. on Tuesday the 28th. That's where you had some charm activity also. Tuesday the 28th through the new moon in Aquarius on Wednesday the 29th through the 30th. Then the moon moves into Pisces again at 5:52 p.m. So you have more power times on the 31st and the 1st until 8:10 p.m. That's February 1st, okay? So Sagittarius, have a great one.